Hey guys, Accessory here with another review. This time I'll be reviewing the Henshin Belt Deluxe BeyondDriver from Kamen Geo. This is the belt used by Kamen Woz to transform. The set includes the belt, one Miride Watch, and a set of belt straps. So, let's get started. First, we'll look at the Woz Miride Watch. So, like other recent secondary belts have changed up the gimmick item with examples such as energy lock seeds, signal bikes, and splash jellies. In the case of the BeyondDriver, we have Miride Watches, a different type of ride watch used exclusively for this belt. So in the case of this, the first thing you'll notice is that there is quite a difference in the general look to it. Instead of having a rotating dial, which changes to have the face, instead we have this kind of cover with two stickers to show the face. In this case, of course, it's the face of Kamen Woz. You can see it has a general silver and green look to him, as well as blue for the eyes, and like with Yo, it says Rider in katakana, ra-i-da-a. And you can see he also has the Kamen symbol on his forehead. Got the button on the top, speaker on the side. If we look to the back, we can see that the shape is actually pretty similar to other ride watches. As you can see with the comparison here. But again, what does make a difference is the general front part and the way it works. So, like with other ride watches, this has two sounds it makes when you press the button on its own. First, of course, is the naming instruction, and this actually does have lights. They're just hidden behind the cover, but you can see it through the little gap here. Then we have the rider description. Transform! Transform with Miride Watches! Kamen Rider Woz! Next, we'll look at the BeyondDriver itself. So this belt has a very futuristic design, starting off with a color scheme that's mainly black, lime green, and light blue. It's got a lot of technological details all around it. We can see Woz's symbol right here, and then also the Kamen symbol there. We've got the lever over here, which is the main part of the gimmick, and this is where we'll attach the Miride Watch. We've got this screen here, which is where the main display will be going on. And over here we have what looks like should be buttons, but these are actually all just molded details, or dummy buttons of sort. And it's a shame because these definitely look like they could be buttons, especially this one here. We've got the speaker here. Going down to the back, we have the power switch. And like with the GQ driver, here it has written in katakana, beruto, or belt. The battery cover here, and this takes 3 AAA batteries. We got the bottom. It's got details on the back of the lever. And of course you have the 2 spaces for the belt straps. We can bring those in. You can see that it has a very unique design, one that is original for this belt. You've got the stopper here, which is meant to resemble a Miride watch. You've got the markings for the left and right sides. And as usual, just plug in one side and then plug in the other to complete the look of the belt. But of course we'll detach them for the demonstration purposes of the video. Now switching on, it'll say its name, though there's not much it can do on its own. In fact, there isn't really anything it can do on its own. So, we'll bring in the Woz Miride Watch and get to the main gimmick. Next, we'll get to the transformation. So first we'll activate the Woz Miride Watch. Then attach it to this point here. That'll start in standby phase, so then press the button on top to open up the Miride Watch. Then pull the lever forward to complete the transformation. And that completes the transformation into Kamen Rider Woz. So we'll do that one more time, without any interruption. And so here we get to the main gimmick of the belt, which is projection mapping. Inside the belt, there is actually a molded-on image of the blank head of Kamen Rider Woz, and then the image from the inside of the Woz Miride Watch is basically projected through a series of mirrors to where it'll overlay on top of the actual head. And it's called projection mapping because of that, and in fact the word that it says when you close it up and it starts the transformation, Toei, literally means projection. You can also see it again, or at least see the image on the belt again, by pressing this, which will activate the opening sound. And that's actually the reason why you couldn't see the reflection of the front part of the belt, but instead it actually reflects what's on the side as part of the mirror system. Next we can activate the special attack, which is called Beyond the Time. First we'll open up the belt again. Then pull the lever forward again. Which activates the time explosion. And here we can see the mirror effect in action. Indeed, if I move my hand over here, you can see the same thing. Additionally, we can get into another part of the gimmick here. Now, if I press the button, this on its own, the cover doesn't open. In fact, that's because one of the levers here, or one of the switches here, is actually the release mechanism. So if I hold down this one, and then press the button, that's what allows it to unlock. And that's because this notch is hitting that switch, which allows it to be opened up and complete the transformation. Additionally, this button here is what pushes up the pins, hit the other switches. And then this one is what lets the belt know that the transformation is complete. Additionally, we have these two buttons here. This is the recognition system of the belt. What I notice here is that if we take a look to this side, one part of it is indented. That's so. It'll hit this button here. And activate the standby phase. If we push the one on the bottom, we get a different standby sound, and that's one that's probably going to come into play at a later point in time. The BeyondDriver is also compatible with normal ride watches, and for example, I'll use the Grease ride watch since both Woz and Grease are the respective third riders from their series. So, we'll set it onto the slot. Let's do that again. And so that activates the Ride Watch brake. And as you can see here, it projects the image of the Ride Watch through the screen. Now the reason why I used a Ride Watch like Grease is because the way that the Woz Miride Watch works is that image is reversed, so it'll come out facing the right way when projected to the screen. But for others, they aren't designed like that, so the image is reversed, meaning that if we had an asymmetrical design, it would turn out backwards. But using something like Grease, it'll look the same no matter what, since it's a symmetrical design. Additionally, there's another feature where if you open and close the belt 2 more times, that will activate armor time. And if we just switch the belt off for a bit, and press the button at top, it can also activate the sounds for its finish time. This can also work with the transformation type ride watches, such as the Geo Watch. And as you can see here, it is backwards like I said.
Finish the time! Time break!
Likewise, the Woz Miride Watch is also compatible with the GQ driver. And as you can hear, the standby sound is now coming from the Miride Watch. And so we get the transmission for Woz here in the GQ driver. Though the display, instead of saying Woz, says new with no year listed, instead just having 4 zeros in green. And this is obviously programmed in here so that hackers wouldn't be able to discover the identity of the third rider. Additionally, we can activate the Beyond the Time by just setting the belt off and then rotating it again. It's a little finicky though. Let's just do that again. And the reason why it's finicky is because the springs on one of the switches are a little bit stronger because it's used also as the release mechanism for the cover parts. We also activate an armor time with this. Activate the finish time like that. Well, instead of trying that, we'll instead switch over to using it as an armor time watch. Just because I'd rather save all of you and myself the frustration. And we can try that out again with this.
Finish the time! Beyond the time!
Finally, the Woz Miride Watch is also compatible with other items you can attach ride watches to. So we can use it for finish time with a weapon like the Jikangi Raid.
Finish the time!
Attach it to the final form time slot on the Decayed Ride Watch. Or attach it onto the Ride Watch holder. And of note is that when the BeyondDriver was released, Bandai also released a deluxe Miride Watch holder. However, it's literally just a lime green recolor of the normal Ride Watch holder that doesn't include anything else, so unless you're a completionist or you want it for cosplay purposes, it's not of much use to get. And there we go. Overall, while the BeyondDriver is a cool belt with a unique gimmick, I would say that at the time of this recording, it's not worth getting just yet. The reason I say that is because it is a lot more limited than the GQ driver because it only has one watch slot, and so it can only do so much with it. And the fact that it only comes with one Miride watch does limit its playability, especially if this is your first belt from the series and you don't have any other ride watches, meaning you won't even be able to activate the ride watch brakes, so all you have is the transformation and Beyond the Time. With that being said, Bandai is going to be releasing 3 more Miride watches separately, 2 in January, 1 in March, and so I think it's worth waiting until at least one of them gets released, the first one being released this weekend, that you wait to buy this and one other Miride watch, so you at least get 2 forms to play with. And it's kind of the same thing I would say for the GQ driver, where it's more worth getting if you have at least one other ride watch to go along with it, so you can use both slots. As far as the belt itself goes, it definitely has a cool and unique design, as well as a very interesting gimmick with the whole projection mapping, which, while they have done this type of mirror system in the past with things like the Trailer Hoe or the Gamer Driver, this is definitely the first time it's been used like this, to overlay an image over a printed model. And it definitely does make it pop, especially when you see it in real life, because you're actually seeing a little bit more depth than you normally would if it was just a simple mirror system. It also does have some pretty cool sounds, and definitely does have an interesting way of using the watches compared to the GQ driver. So once again, not a belt worth getting on its own, but if you get it with at least one other Miride Watch 4th form, then it definitely is worth picking up if you're a fan of Kamen Rider Woz. Next time I'll be reviewing the Deluxe Jikan Despire, Saturday at 6 PM PST. So, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And if you're new and would like to see more, please subscribe and hit the bell icon. And for now, this is KR50, riding off.